The following program was produced by the United States Courts.
One of the things that I learned when I was growing up was my parents' tremendous work ethic and their sense of humility and their tremendous gratitude for the opportunities that this country offered. And I always had a sense that it would be very wasteful not to reach out and take advantage of those opportunities. I was born and raised in a small town north of Saigon. It was a very idyllic childhood. All of that ended abruptly in 1975 when South Vietnam fell to North Vietnam's communist forces. The city was being shelled, and even as a young child, I understood that my parents feared that we would be killed. I certainly knew people who had been killed. My dad was a major in the South Vietnam Army, and so the next task for my dad was really to find a way to get us out of the country. And we were incredibly fortunate to be airlifted out of Vietnam. We went to a tent city that was set up as a temporary shelter for the Vietnamese refugee population in Camp Pendleton, San Diego. My parents were in shock because not only did they have to deal with the loss of their homeland, but also with the prospect of starting all over again, trying to figure out how to provide food and shelter and raise 6 children in a foreign land. Whatever job opportunities came our way, my mom would take it. One of the first jobs that my mom took on was peeling apples and cutting them up and putting them in boxes. And so that was something for which she really required a lot of assistance, because she would do this in the evening hours after her full-time day job. And we would stay up late into the night helping her peel and cut these apples. And that really made a very deep impression on me. The fact that no opportunity was too small to pass by. And I stayed and maintained that, I think, throughout my adulthood. And it really shaped all the decisions that I've made in my life. When I started college, I wanted to major in English literature. And that opened the door for me to go to law school. Even though at that time, could never have imagined or dreamed of becoming a lawyer and a judge. But if I hadn't really strengthened my reading and writing skills, I wouldn't have been prepared for law school. When I graduated from law school, I was very fortunate in a tough market to receive an offer from a big Los Angeles law firm. But I knew that it wasn't my passion. It wasn't what I wanted to wake up in the morning doing every day. And so I jumped at the opportunity to go into the U.S. Attorney's Office, because what I really wanted to do was to be in public service. And even though when I was in private practice, I was making more money than my dad was ever able to make in all of the years that he struggled here in the United States, I still made that choice because pursuing my passion felt like the right decision for me. And that opened up the doors to a career on the bench. In 2002, I was appointed to be a California Superior Court judge, and I was doing it for a few years, feeling for the first time in my professional life like I have everything perfectly balanced. I got a call from a woman that I've known for a long time asking me to think about being a federal judge. The district to which I was appointed, the docket is tremendously heavy. And so I knew that if I accepted that historic appointment, where I would be the first Asian American woman appointed to that bench, I would have to work very, very hard and essentially doubling my workload. And I didn't know if I was ready for that type of challenge. She called me again and she said, "You need to do this." Whenever I face difficult decisions in my life, I'm always reminded of my parents. Seeing that example, I think, has always inspired me to reach outside of my comfort zone. I think you have to have the courage to hold on to the opportunities that you're given that could change the course of your entire life. And that's what I did. And that's how I became a federal judge.